First thing I'm going to do is where the width of the claw meets the diameter at the break point, I'm just going to square up from the sides to the top, like that. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to carry these claw lines, the outer edge of the claw lines, up the sides. You can do it with a square if you want, or you can just do it with your finger. Use your finger as a fence. Now, next thing I want to do is draw in the breakpoint line. Now, breakpoint line, I'm going to visualize this again. We'll get the breakpoint is literally where the ball and claw either breaks to the top or breaks to the floor, but it's the kind of the maximum diameter. That's 1 inch from the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and draw in a mark 1 inch high. And while I'm at it, I'm also going to draw in the center. Put a little X there. So this point is the high point of the ball and claw. Right there. That single point. Or the high point of the ball, excuse me. Good. Next thing I want to do is on the front balls and on the rear balls, I want to mark the height of the ball. So the height of the ball in the rear is 1 7/8 inches on this particular one. And on the front, it's 2 inches, which should be pretty close to the bandsaw line that we have. I'll move this over here so you can see it. Sometimes it's helpful to have a line that just shows the center line all the way up. So I'll put that in. Not necessary, but sometimes it's useful. If you can just trace this back. Up the leg a little bit. And what you can see is that the ball is not centered underneath the ankle, right? The ball is shifted over. I guess that's obvious, but sometimes it's kind of confusing when you get in the middle of this carving exercise. Okay. I'm not going to worry at this point about laying out the various knuckles and things like that on the leg. We're going to focus mostly on carving the ball and claw. Or carving the ball first. There's two other measurements that I want to put in. The one, basically what I want to do is define on a finished leg. I want to define, or for the finished leg, I want to define that spot where the webbing meets the top of the ball on the front two, and then in the back, I also want to define that, but I actually have to define it as I carve, because I can't come down from the top. On the front, I can actually mark a distance back, but because we've bandsawed away this material. But on the back, I can't do that because we haven't bandsawed away the material. Here I'm going to have to carve down to this point, and I'll do that shortly. But on the front, I can mark it. Now, the added difficulty of this on the front is that there's really not a good place to reference. I guess I could hold a ruler like this and then try to measure back from the ruler. But sometimes it's easier just to take the width of your foot and then subtract off this distance and then measure it from the back. And that's the way we're going to go ahead and do it. So the depth of the ball at the front is, is 5/8 of an inch. So I could try to measure 5/8 of an inch in here. But instead, I'm just going to go ahead and measure this. This is 3 inches. So if I go 1 3/8 inches, or 2 3/8 from the back, that's going to send me to this point right here. And interestingly enough, that's consistent with that little peak that we have from the bandsaw. I don't know if you can see that. I'll try to hold it up here, but I've got a corner here and then a corner right here, and that turns out that that's 2 3/8 from the back. So this spot right here, right where that peak is going to be the depth of the ball in front. So if I carve straight down here and straight in here, I'm going to arrive, when those two planes intersect, I am going to arrive at that point right there. And that's one of the things, it's one of the first things I want to go ahead and carve in.